because you want to create a pipeline and a cash flow of these properties. One, you're going to help people. You're going to help yourselves, you're going to help your family, and you're going to make a lot of money, especially doing investments on short sales. I prefer to work with investors that want to make 18 to 20%. That's fine. But I want them to fundamentally want to help homeowners. That's the bigger deal to me. At the end of the day, that's the biggest deal. And that's what you need to be aware of. So we get our package together. We've got somebody with the right mindset. What are we dealing with next? I'm going to teach you guys how to do it so you guys can start tomorrow. Your initial call cycles are real simple. Call the bank, ask for your fax numbers, and what fax numbers do you want? I want to know where to send my authorization form, how to package it, do not contact forms. Once I do that, I'm going to call and confirm receipt, and then I'm going to cycle my calls at least once a week until my mitigator and my BPO are assigned. Statistically, I'm teaching you the fundamental basics of doing a short sale, and the truth is the standard agent, standard mitigator, anybody you think, including that attorney you think who's helping you with your short sale, can't even get this part correctly consistently. I would say better than 80% of people working on short sales do not understand the bare bone basics of what the bank is doing and how to process a short sale. So again, what's the frustration with why everybody hates short sales as an investor? I understand. You can't find somebody to mitigate the A to B section. Okay, so the short sale timeline works like this. First 1 to 4 weeks, you assign to a mitigator, the BPO, order it back. Next 4 to 8 weeks, we want it assigned, the loss mitigator submitted for approval, and the last 8 to 12 weeks, okay, we want it approved, and we want an approval letter, and we want to close out our deals consistently in 90 days. Let's assume I get an REO at sale. 30-day right of rescission, depending on what market you're in. Let's say I do rehab, and then let's say I market it. Consistently, it's going to take you 3 to 4 months anyway to do an REO start to finish before you turn a profit. So you're risking $100,000 in this same scenario. You're $78,000 to buy this property via sale to make 25%, and it's going to take the same amount of time with 100% of the risk. I'm saying we're tying it up before it goes into escrow, and we're making everything run concurrently, therefore reducing the risk and reducing your liability and your exposure. So, what is the bank's philosophy on all this? That's a good question. It's real simple. How much money does the bank want to make back per file? Thanks to investors, agents, homeowners, they're going to try to get back everything they can on a file, period. Period. That's what they're going to try to get back on these files. They're going to try to make back every single dollar. If there's an equity spread of 22%, the bank expects to make 22%. What do I mean? Short sale versus foreclosure. Once the word short sale is uttered, once a loan modification starts with your homeowner, once any of this goes down, the bottom line is very, very simple. The bank is going to try to get back every single dollar they can. The common lie really, starts to happen with how much commission do they pay, how much escrow fee do they pay, how much, it's whatever they can get away with. Okay? They'll nickel and dime agents. They will take away commission, even though they'll make more short sale versus foreclosure. But my personal favorite is when determining fair market value, and this is the one you guys get caught up in, and a lot of people do. Lee, my perception is the banks really don't want to do the short sale. They'd rather just foreclose. Well, we've already discussed that you don't see really REOs hitting the market, so that doesn't happen. Lee, why do they think the value is so much higher? I've been doing this for over 20 years. If I couldn't determine the fair market value on one of my properties, I'd lose my job consistently. That's the truth. I need to know fair market value consistently. So what does the bank do? They lie about the fair market value so that they can get more money back on their files. It's pretty cut and dry. So how does it really work? Okay, there are two things that the bank looks at fundamentally on each file. First is the value, all right? You need to understand the concept of first loss, best loss. We make more doing a short sale than we do foreclosure. We don't want to go to foreclosure. In fact, we stopped foreclosures. You have no buddies, you have no pals at the bank. Okay, know this as the truth. I will stick a knife in your back and I will kick your ass into a river to collect and take your wallet to close a file. That is the way an asset manager works on REOs or short sales. Their job is to get a maximized returns. I don't care who you wine and dine, they'll screw you every time. Okay, there are no friends at a bank. A bank is a shark. They do two things. They lend money and they collect money. This is a collection. So is an REO. They want every single stinking dollar they can. They will treat you like absolute crap to do it. And they want you to kiss them and thank them when they're done, at the end of these processes. That's the part I find amazing. Especially on the REO end. You better pucker up, Buttercup. I mean, you think you got to kiss butt hard trying to do a short sale. Go talk to real REO people and see how far they've got to pucker up. Because if they don't like it, there's 5 or 6 investors or 5 or 6 agents who are ready to take the next set of listings. That's the truth. So play ball or else. It is about first loss, best loss. What is the maximized return? The banks will use, on average, a thing called an AVM, and they will know about the depreciation in the market. They will know fair market value before you submit a deal on an REO, on a short sale, on whatever it is. They know it cold. The next is what they call the minimum acceptable net proceed, or as I like to call it, what's a better deal, short sale versus foreclosure. Now, many people believe that there's a standard percentage the bank takes off, that maybe we throw darts against the wall. Maybe, hey, you know what? Maybe it works just like TRW or Equifax. We have some crazy, wild configuration of algorithms that determines our... No, it's math, okay? This is simply about math. We figure out the costs and fees and the interest associated with it. Here are the bank calcs for 4 different banks. Wells, Chase, B of A, Saxon. I've got everybody's calculator. These are their calcs. That's it. Those are their calcs, okay? And I'm able to, sorry, made everybody dark out for a minute being able to see their calcs. There's too much light on the deal. So what was I looking at? The bank has a calculator. They know exactly what it takes short sale versus foreclosure to make their deal go. That is their minimum acceptable net proceeds. Those figures can be manipulated by an investor or even a real estate agent to know exactly what the equity spread is for each and every file. And you need to know that. Okay? So how do I use this information to make money? That's a very good question. Let's assume that you do have access to a calculator. Let's say that you can understand that. And if the bank really wants to do a short sale, why don't they close at the end of the day? Truthfully, I'm going to show you exactly why they don't close. Same reason REOs don't go down well, same reason short sales don't go down well. It has to do why short sales fails. I blew through there super fast, but that's okay. This is the truth of how it all works. This is about collecting money. You need to understand that. That's what I'm good at. At the end of the day, I'm an asset manager. I collect money from everybody. If I do REOs, I'm taking it from the agent, I'm taking it from the investor, I'm taking it from somebody. I'm going to maximize return. That's my job. If I'm doing short sales, I want to maximize return on my file. So I need to understand what fundamentally collects money. The first is fear, the second is greed, and the third is power. And trust me, when you guys all talk about banks and what you think about banks, that's exactly how they position themselves on REOs or short sales. So what is fear? Fear is an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous and likely to cause pain or a threat. That would be every asset manager or head loss mitigator you've ever talked to. You should be afraid of us. We're very good at what we do. Second is greed, an intense desire for something, especially money, prestige, or property. Yeah, you guys want the property or you want the money, you want something, trust me. And power, the capacity or the ability to direct or influence the behavior of others or the course of events. You know what this is? This is also what predicates the human ego. So not only do you have to deal with the legality of REOs or short sales, trying to chase the equity spread, trying to chase people who are going to manipulate people based on fear, greed, and power. You're really working with people who've got their egos completely out of whack. That's, truthfully, any classic definition of the ego is generated and dictated by these 3 things: fear, greed, and power. It is what makes our ego move forward. So you as an investor truly believe that your money is special. And let me tell you how many investors I've met. Oh, I got a lot of money to invest. Just tell me where to go and who I need to talk to. I'll pay you. Dude, how much money do you have? I got $10 million to invest. You got nothing. You've got a speck. Wells, Chase, and B of A physically have enough liquid capital on hand to pay off the national debt. Okay? I need you to really wrap your brain around this, no matter who you are. The goal is to take that $10 million and how do I make a decent return on that money? How do I help this market instead of hurt this market? This isn't a rape and pillage mission where I'm going to go in and get REOs and I'm going to fix them up and I'm going to flip them over. It's 3.5 years of chasing that damn tennis ball. It's time to pull your head out of your ass and figure this one out. You want to make money in this market and understand what the Buffetts and all the, the Rockefellers and why they say these are the markets where everybody makes their money. It's short sales. It's legitimately short sales. But we have serious issues with egos and positioning. And the truth is, the reason this is all sideways is this. Who and what motivated you? My broker told me I shouldn't work on short sales. There's too much liability. Really? Cite the case law. I haven't seen it yet, but apparently there's some liabilities to this. The DRE said I needed to create a fiduciary relationship with the bank when doing a short sale, or it's fraud. So you're being scared away from short sales now by the Department of Real Estate. That's interesting. My personal favorite. My attorney told me about all the liability and all the case law about short sales. The next time your attorney tells you about short sales and all the case law, ask him for the case number and send it to me. Usually it came down to a non-disclosure to a seller. Then the seller and that bank got together and they went after that agent or that investor. That's the truth. Okay, I don't need to tell this, to hear myself. I've told this to hundreds of investors. I work with investors. I know that this is the truth. You're afraid. You're afraid of short sales. You little mavericks waving around your tens of millions of dollars, pocket investor at home, how do I make my 100 grand, make any percentage? I'm going to go buy an REO and make it a rental. Really? Really, that's what you're going to do? You tell me how well that's working for you doing a buy and hold strategy on REOs. Because I haven't met too many people doing buy and hold strategies on that work. But if I have a $100,000 fair market value on a property and I could buy it 18 to 22% below fair market value and even use that as a buy and hold strategy, I'm still ahead of the game. At least I've cut the damn bank out of the situation. No, I'm afraid there's too much liability. I need to disclose it. And the ABC doesn't sound legal to me. Yeah, because you don't know how to disclose it. I know lots of investors who do it successfully. Okay, I've been coaching them for quite some time. We've created a way. Well, I know about all the other investment coaches. And you know what? How many of them have worked for a bank? I'm just wondering off the top of my head. I don't want to name everybody off. And certainly one of the biggest designation companies is now trying to get investors involved in short sales. And that new designation, I trained him. I trained everybody. I'm the former head loss mitigator for Mini-Mac Bank's HELOC division. I've negotiated files for everybody. I've worked with the best investors in the United States. I know what you guys think. That's why I made this video, so that you fundamentally understand as well. This isn't my arrogance or my ego. I want to go help homeowners. And I need to get your money back into this market to go help them get out of their houses. They have a goal. Their goal is to get out so that they can buy again. They got in over their heads. They got involved in crap that, they just didn't understand. 3-1, 5-1, 7-1, 10-1, spit and spackle loans were shit from the beginning. Okay? That's the truth. I'm apologizing for cursing, but that's the reality. They wanted into their house, and now they think that they can keep their house. So they're trying to do loan mods, and they're really actually messing up the entire market by screwing around with loan mods or deem low or whatever. I want to get investors, really people who want to help other people, and I want to help your family. Why? I'm going to get you 18 to 20% on average. Just do it my way. I'm going to show you how to set up the deal. So here's what I'm going to do for you. Okay? You need to understand what your responsibility is once you start doing one of these. And the first one is you need to learn how to submit the file, deal with all the players in the transaction. You need to follow up, do all the tracking, updating, approval, closing, and beyond the close, actually, you need to take care of everybody. Because if you don't, somebody might sue you, truthfully. And that's where all the liability and all the stories come from. Somebody who dropped dotting an I or crossing a T. And then not to be intimidated by the bank when dealing with them. This is what it will take for you if you were to take this information I gave you today and to apply it to the market. I've given you good stuff, and I'm going to tell you how to put it all together. You know how to market now. The mindset of your homeowner is for a loan mod, so why wouldn't I do marketing based on loan modification? Simple. Get them to call you, set the deal up. I've given you all the parts and pieces for doing a short sale.